So SAP ETL, that means SAP BODS mostly. So what is ETL? That it is extract, transformation, and load process. So let's understand what is exactly the ETL. So this is a disclaimer. I mean, in every session I will show you that. So and this is our agenda. Like, what is ETL? Then what is SAP ETL specifically, and what are the SAP tools we have in market. So first, like, what is the ETL? ETL is extract, load, and transformation. So what is the need of ETL? First, we'll understand that. So we have so much of a data in every company. Every company produce so much of a data. Though it's a financial company or marketing company, it doesn't matter. But they have huge data into the picture, and business wants sometimes there are two types of needs mostly where ETL tools are required. One is like data warehousing kind of a thing, and second is data migration. So you are looking for data migration mostly, but before that we'll understand what is data warehousing. So business sometimes business wants that data into specific format in which they can use that data to generate some reports, business reports, you can say. If you know that tools like Tableau or Power BI or something like that. So for that, to generate the proper reports, we need some tool which will transform the data in correct format, or if data is missing, then it will enrich. Of course, we have some logics in place, but yeah, it will do some enrichment, it will do some transformation, and it will generate it will load the data in specific format where they can use this data as is to populate the report. So that that report should not have any issue. It should not have any issue. If suppose we have some column, let's say we have a column country, and the data itself is missing in so many rows, then the report will not give correct answers, right? So that's why we will transform the data, or we'll enrich the data. And finally, when transformation is completed, then we'll load the data into some data warehouse, like if you have data lake or SQL or MS SQL or AWS something, SQL, AWS buckets, etc., etc. There are n number of target systems where we can load the data, and by using that data, business can generate the report. Second need of this ETL tool is data migration. So what is the need? Let's take an example. We have if you are a owner of cafe coffee day, CCD, and you have bought Starbucks. Now your CCD is using SAP system, and the child company is a Starbucks that is using, let's suppose, Oracle JD Edwards. Okay. Or maybe in some countries they are using SAP. In European country, let's suppose they are using SAP. In the countries like India and all, they are using JD Edwards. What you will do? As you have bought that company, you want one system to do the business, your business. So basically, you want all the data into your parent company's parent company system, like parent company CCD, and you are using SAP. So here data migration consultant came into the picture. Like they will extract the data from child systems for each and every country. So whatever, if suppose in European country, they will extract the data from a child SAP system, and from countries like India and Asian countries, they will extract the data from JD Edwards. Then they will transform the data into load format. Let's suppose maybe Starbucks have the plant in Mumbai. So the same plant Mumbai present for your CCD as well. So maybe in legacy system, its name is XYZ, and in child system it is known as 1 2 3 4. Then the ETL tool will transform the data from 1 2 3 4 to XYZ, and prepare the data into load ready format. Once we do this transformation and enrichment, we'll load the data into target system. For us, it is SAP system. Of course, that's why we are learning SAP ETL tool. So to load the data, we have multiple processes. We have ad hoc load approach. Sometimes ABAPer, which are the technical consultants of SAP people, they will do some load ready format, or they will generate some LSMW. Or if suppose if you are looking for S4 HANA system, we have LTMC. There are a number of options. Most proper is ad hoc load approach. So they will using these kind of approaches will load the data into target SAP system. So basically, this is the extract, transformation, and load. This is the complete process which I've explained. So see, if suppose See, IDOC is a popular way, why I have said, because if you have a huge data in lakhs of records you have, you'll not interested to go in some above programs and do the loading part, because for that you need to populate the data into some specific format, in text format of course, and then that text file you will use as an input for that above program, and you will load the data. Same with LSMW. Well, so of course that text file will not accept the huge data in lakhs or billions of data, but IDOCs will do that. So if you have a master data load like material, whatever I've seen in industry, what is going on, if you are loading master data like material master, customer master, vendor master, of course you'll go for IDOC load approach. We have some BAPIs as well. You will call that BAPIs in SAP BODS itself, and by using that also you can load that. So this is the two options. From BODS itself you can load BODS. SAP BODS is a SAP ETL tool. It's a ETL tool. So BODS is the full form of BODS is business objects data services, or shortly it will known as data services, SAP data services or SAP ETL tool. So previously it was owned by business objects, but later SAP bought it. So it is a third party application. It is not a SAP application. I mean, if you have seen the traditional SAP logon pad, right? I mean, you are a SAP consultant, right? So in that you don't have a ETL tool. So it is a third party application which SAP owned it. So I think I have explained this one. ETL is a process like data extracted from various data sources. We have a number of data sources. Transformation also I have explained on top of that, and data is loaded into database or data warehouse. This is like data warehousing. We have kind of projects where you have a data lake as a target part, or you have a Microsoft Azure or AWS buckets. These are the target systems where you load the data, and top of that they will populate the reports. So what are the ETL tools? I mean, we have enterprise software tools, cloud-based ETL tool, open source ETL tool, and reverse ETL tools. So SAP cloud-based ETL tools, if you have if you have know that Snowflake, did you listen that tool, Snowflakes? So that is cloud-based ETL tool. Open source ETL tools, I mean, which are the free ones? Maybe PySpark, maybe it's the open source, or I need to find out. But open sources are like which you can directly use. There is one IBM's tool as well, I think data stage and all. And enterprise software tools are SAP BODS and Informatica, like that, which we have to pay, and which is an enterprise thing. So they have their own all systems and all. So these are the ETL tools. But for SAP kind of a thing, we have to use SAP BODS only or SLT. So because I mean that's why SAP bought it, right? To do what all kind of SAP things. Usually they will use SAP BODS as a ETL tool. But if you check in the industry, there are data warehousing project which I was talking about. For that, mostly Informatica is a popular one, because it has more flexibility or more connections with the systems, other systems. Informatica is like most popular one, or a top of everything Informatica is one. But I will mention that now SAP data migration projects won't use it now, because BODS is the most popular one. And if any projects is still using the Informatica, in coming years they will migrate it to SAP BODS. So yeah, then SAP ETL. So I think this is also I've explained that how we'll do the transformation and enrichment. Yeah, if you see this figure, we have SAP ERP system, SAP BW system, and non-SAP data sources. So what are the non-SAP data sources? Maybe you have Excel sheets. Like I've seen some projects where they business won't entertain to establish the connection from your retail tool with their financial systems. So what they'll usually do, if you know the objects like cost centers or GLs, mostly GL. So what they will do is like they themselves will generate some Excel sheet, the data into Excel sheet format, and they'll send you that Excel sheet with password protected Excel sheets. So why they will do, like they want to protect their data because it's a financial entities, so they don't entertain direct connection with that. So that's why BODS have some all they can establish a connection from SAP or SAP BW systems or SAP tables directly, or you have you can pull the data from AWS, you can pull the data from Azure, you can pull the data from Excel sheets, even you can pull the data from text files. You can pull the data from JD, like Oracle systems, or you can pull the data from Microsoft SQL servers and all that. So whatever, whatever the systems you have, SAP is now, good in that format. So to establish in connection. So they will pull the data from all the systems, and in SAP system, like in SAP ETL, what usually they will do is like, they will create some databases. So in every data migration project, one one database server is they have provided, where you will, do some extraction and do some transformation, and then you will use those tables to download the data. You want to directly load the data from SAP tables. Let's suppose, so you have, SAP system, and you have Oracle JD system. So you have some Mara table for material master data, and Oracle JD Edward some J41101 table. So you have to pull, it won't happen like, okay, you are directly pulling the data from this table and this table and directly loading into some SAP system, SAP ECC, like that. So let's suppose we have this target system, and these are the source system. So it will not happen that directly you are loading and pulling the data from Mara and loading the data into SAP, because you want to do some enrichment, some data cleansing, and some, transformation. So where you will do that? That's why we need some, SQL server, which is a database. So what you will do, first you will the data from Mara or these tables as is into SQL server, as is. If Mara table has 1 lakh record, then your SQL server will also have a 1 record. It's a plain extraction. That is extraction process, first extraction. You will not put any kind of a filters. You'll do, you'll extract, as is data, provided if your systems, if you are pulling the data for financial systems, there are some huge table in SAP like BKLS or something like these kind of a tables. I don't remember these tables. These are very huge. You cannot pull directly because it's have billions of data. So at that time, you can use some company code level, filters to pull the data. That will cover how to do that and how will do it. But let's understand that why there is a third party SQL server is needed. So first we'll do the extraction. We'll loads in the data into SQL server. Let's suppose we'll give the example. We'll give this name. So we will create some temporary table, or J4110. These are some temporary tables we are creating. This Mara and this one, where we'll do the plain extraction. So if once you do the extraction, forget about this table now. It's not required now. It's not required for anymore. Now we'll use this table as input and we'll do some transformation itself. ये हम क्यों करते हैं? Because these tables are, of course, SAP system, these are the live tables. So if you are doing the extraction on 17th of November, you may find out 1 lakh record. But if tomorrow, if you are again doing this extraction again, you are executing the jobs. Let's understand, if we are executing any program. In one day, maybe 1000 records has been created. Again, tomorrow, 1 lakh 1 record will be pulled. So your entire logic will be on a toss. Like every day we are getting extra records, and how you will do that? And of course, time consuming. Extracting the data from Mara and doing the transformation directly from the legacy systems is time consuming, and it is not entertaining. It is not, standard as per SAP standard process. So that's why we'll do for plain extraction, and then we'll do the transformation. Like let's say an example, you have go live on 1st of December. So business himself, they said that, okay, 20 November tak you have to take the extraction. After that, we'll close the legacy systems. They will stop the transactions after that, and then you will pull the data, right? This is how we'll do. So whatever the transformation and enrichment we'll do on these tables, these test tables, SQL database tables, and then we'll convert this data into load ready format. And then I told you, right, whatever the loading techniques are there, whichever the loading techniques you are interested, that is fine. But this middleware system is always common in all kind of transformation process. So this is what it is explained. Like we have multiple sources, then we'll do some plain extraction. This is why we have used this one picture, because only one database system we are pulling the data, and then we'll load into SAP system. Like SAP HANA is a database, Either we'll do load, will load in the SAP HANA system, or we'll load into proper SAP ECC or S4 HANA in migration projects. You are in migration projects, so let's visualize that this is, instead of SAP HANA, visualize that it is a SAP ECC system or SAP S4 HANA system. So I think here it is mentioned, right? We have multiple sources. We'll do that transactions and load into warehousing. Here data migration projects and all those things. I mean, this is just like which I've explained before that. Okay, so why SAP ETL? First is data connectivity. So when I say data connectivity, BODS supports multiple sources you can connect with. It's a very simple technique to do some connections. Let's take an example. You want to connect with the SAP server, SQL server. Then what you will do? You want Windows. You have some options like Windows authentication or database authentication. Then you have to give username, password, and once you establish the connection, it's a one-time process only. So I'll just again move to the this Excel sheet. Okay, we have now our SAP ETL. Let's take. I'll not use BODS word now. I'll just use SAP ETL now. So this is tool we have right now. We are using. Okay, we have some source system: SAP ECC, SAP HANA, SAP BW, then something Oracle, then JD Edwards, some BAN system or some FMS system. Let's okay, fine. These examples are fine. So this is our tool, right? This is like, it is not a live tool. It is a normal tool we have. Okay, and this is the backend process of this SAP ETL is a BOD. I mean, it's a SQL only. It is written in the SQL system. Look, so whatever logics we are developing in SAP ETL, it will automatically convert into a SQL queries format backend. So we can check that SQL queries as well. I mean, if you want. So how to connect with SAP ECC? It is not like directly you can connect with SAP ECC and load the data. No, it is not the thing. So we have some data store kind of a middleware. So one data store is for one system. Okay. So this data store holds the data. I mean, this data store holds all the connections. I mean, it will hold the username, password thing. You have to configure it one time. There is one team, SAP Basis, which is a support system which help you to create these data stores or maintain these data stores. Once you configure this data store, it is middleware of SAP ECC and SAP ETL. Then you can pull all the tables if you have the access. Of course, this username which you are using in the data store, that must have the access of the tables which you want. Then you can search the tables from SAP ECC. Like you can use these systems as a legacy, I mean as a source or as well, or you can use as a target as well. But this data store is required. I mean, of course, you are loading the data into SAP ECC, right? So the data store is something like only connection, establishing the connection in between our tool and that system. Let's suppose if we don't have this legacy and the target, I mean SAP and our ETL tool, or legacy system or target system with our SAP ETL. Because this is some legacy source, right? Let's suppose this part is source from which we are pulling the data, and our target is only one system every time, and which is SAP ECC. So what you will do, you will create two data store. So data store, we'll do some SAP data store source. You will give this name, and with the target you will create another data store, and this time you will use target name. It is just for maintaining some you can say some naming conventions or systematicness, to brought systematicness into your program. That's why we create two different sources. So any user later point of time, if you leave your company, if somebody came, that he will very well understand, okay, this data store is used for source and this data store is used for target. But if you don't want to do that, you can only create one data store. You can use these tables as a source, and you can use the IDOCs directly from that data store to load the data. Okay, just understand from top point of view. When we do some hands-on, you'll very well understand it, what I'm trying to say. So just for source and target, we'll create two different data stores just for making this program live. Second one is like, this is data connectivity. That's what I'm saying. Like, we have multiple systems and we can connect the data. Was just one, I forget to mention one point. that these are the legacy system. But what else if we have a text format, text file and Excel format, for that we don't require a data store. We directly have uh, one thing there. I'll show you in the tool itself. So by using that adapters only, you can pull the data directly. We don't require data stores for that, because these are the local files, right? Or either are the local files, or it is kept on the server level. So our tool directly pull the data from itself. We don't require any data store. Okay, so performance, yeah. BODS performance is SAP ETL. I mean, SAP ETL performance is very good in terms of speed, or in terms of everything. I mean, whatever. When if you put some huge logics as well, it will execute the program in minutes. So provided that you are using some proper techniques or proper processes which you are following, then only it will give good performance. Sometimes if you are directly blindly putting some logic and building some programs. So in SAP ETL program ko job bola jata hai. It is a job. So if you are creating some job and putting some complex logic, maybe it will execute, it will take some 1 hour to execute. But yeah, of course, we have some performance techniques we can use in ETL. By using that, you can, brought out that job execution time from 1 hour to 10 minutes as well, or 5 minutes as well. These are some smart techniques that also I will tell you at the last. First, we'll understand the tool, and then I'll tell you. Once you understand and once you get the confidence that, okay, you can use now SAP ETL tool as properly, then I will show in the last sessions, I will tell you how to, increase the performance of this job. So maybe, using in demo, I mean, doing demos, if you are, doing some complex logic, building some complex logic, maybe our program will take some 10 minutes or 15 minutes of a time. Let them do. Let them execute. Don't worry about the performance right now. Try to understand the process. Then at last, I'll tell you how to build, how to increase the performance. Transformation flexibility. That is also I'll tell you. I told you, right? N number of transformation you have, and you don't require any SQL knowledge to execute this SAP ETL. You have some transformation for every SAP, SQL logics. You have one transformation. It is a UI kind of a thing. So you have all kind of options. You can do any kind of a thing. So that also, when I'll show you the tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I'll show you this tool. Then I'll show you that how many transformation you can do. All kind of flexibility this tool provides. Data quality, yeah. Without that, any tool is not accepted if it is not supporting data quality transformations. So whatever data cleansing process, maybe in my company I've seen multiple times that they will have if important fields also they don't have a data, and you have to build some logic to put that data, because without that your target system won't allow to load the data. So that quality checks, cleansing checks, all kind of a transformation, all kind of UI options we have in our tool. So you don't need to worry. You don't need to build some complex SQL things. You can directly use that UI as is. You can select whatever options you want, and our tool is ready for that. So flexible data acquisition option, that is also I've covered. Committed vendor to ETL. Yeah, I mean, it's a SAP tool as well. I mean, it's itself, because it is they bought from business objects. So now it's a authorized SAP tool now. BODS is the authorized SAP tool now. So yeah, so whenever, I mean, till I think when we speak with our colleagues and our managers, or in companies, they said that like till 2027 or to 2030, this migration process will go. These all companies are migrating now. So they require 6 to 7 years now to do all kind of a transformation. Till that, BODS is the only thing. It's a key thing which helps you to do some migrations. I mean, for master data, I think I don't find any substitute for BODS now, SAP ETL now. For other small objects, we have less MWs, we have some ABAP programs, standard ABAP programs, or customized ABAP programs also we can use that, or BAPI also we can use that for smaller objects or transactional objects. But for master data, ad hoc load approach, I had never seen any companies using other load approach for master objects. So, and for to generate these ad hocs and all, we require SAP ETL tool only. So I don't see any substitute for SAP ETL as of now in industry. There are ETL tools in other, other companies like Informatic and all. But yeah, all this performance, all these parameters uh, justified by SAP only. SAP ETL only. Other tools, load ka issue ho jayega. They don't have connection, they don't have that much easiness which SAP ETL is providing. That's why everyone is migrating to SAP BODS now. Okay. This also I've shown on the Excel, right? This connection. This arrow is just like a data store, which is established the connection in between our staging area to or our ETL tool to with this extraction system or with the target system. Then challenges. So this is also we have covered, right? Data might be soiled, it may be inaccurate or inconsistent or inaccessible. Those when we are loading the data from multiple sources, so those things will happen. I'll give you an example. For only, I told you, right, for financial systems, some business won't trust won't trust the people. They are correct as well. They don't want to show you their entire GL to us, right? We are consultants and they don't want to show this. So what they'll do, they will just generate, populate some Excel sheets, they will provide to us. But other data we are pulling from whatever the systems they are using. Let's suppose they are using SAP ECC. So what we'll do, SAP ECC of course have some consistent data, but this Excel sheets might be the case that they don't have inconsistent data. I have ever seen many times that nano country column is unpopulated. For some records it is populated, for some records it is not populated. So what we need to do, we need to find out the company code column. If 1, 2, 3, 4 company code belongs to India, then our SAP tool directly populate that inconsistencies or cleansing part, it will automatically do. For that we need to build some of course rules, but by using that rules we'll put will data consistency we will achieve, data accuracy we will achieve. Once it is accuracy and consistency is 100%, then only that data is loadable in, of course, in any SAP ECC as well, or in any data warehousing or data lakes, anywhere. You don't want to load a blank country column, right? It is a mandatory column, and if your column itself is a blank, then what is the use of ETL then? So those things we'll do. Of course, we have multiple system. That is what it is explained, that if you have multiple sources, this inconsistency you can find. There are n number of columns, maybe blank, or it's a sometimes what happen, I've usually seen that if countries, the country name is huge, maybe it's a 15 character or 12 character, it will truncate the data, it will only accept 10 characters. In those cases, how to handle those things, those we can do in SAP ETL tool. Now here you can see the SAP data services now 4.x. So now industry is using 4.2. Everywhere is used. Industry is using 4.2 data services. There is not much huge differences. Small things is changed in those instances, 4.1 or 4.2. But 4.2 is latest now. We will build one program which will establish the which will establish the connection to with the SAP ERP, and of course as a source, and for target system we have staging area. Once you execute that job, it will pull the data from extraction source tables, and it will stage into some this Mara test. Let's suppose we are extracting Mara table, it will stage into Mara test. So once we have Mara test, all transformation logics will put on the Mara test, and then we'll something next table will be Mara test 2. Now this is the Mara test transformed. So this table will do. So पहले हमने Mara को Mara test में convert किया, then we have make that Mara test into Mara test transform. So this table have the proper consistent data. All things we have covered here, all transformation things, all cleansing things, all inaccuracy things we have covered in this table. And then this table we use to load the data into SAP ECC. This one. We don't use this one directly to SAP ECC. So these are the connections only. So in the data store we have we have created SAP data store source. Uske niche you will find all the tables like Mara, Marci, Mardi, or or everything. That table you can use, and then you load the data. So when I show you the BODS, you will have a better picture now. Right now, don't try to visualize, just understand theoretically. So, or one more point I want to tell you here. Okay, so this maybe 1 lakh record. Okay. But this transformation table, maybe it is having 12,000 only. Why? Because we do the migration country by country or company code by company or plant by plant. Duplication also will cover, but if your system is SAP, it won't allow the duplication. If you are material, if you have a coffee, let's say you are owner of coffee day, area of coffee beans as a material. So SAP won't allow to create duplicate coffee beans material. So you have to give another different name. But directly SAP will not allow duplicate record. So if you are pulling the data from SAP, then you are okay. You don't require much things. You have Excel sheets or text file. 100% it will have data consistency. 100% it will have data duplication. 100% it will have a data inaccuracy. So that part you have to do in transformation. But why records are less? Because this 1 lakh record is a global records. It may have India record, it may have Canada, it may have, but you do the transformations, the load part country by country or region. That's why we have less. So this filtering, cleansing, and all these things we will do in transformation itself. Sometimes you have like, okay, we have covered now. So just it's like a filter only. A filter can be anything. Filter can be anything. So this SAP SLT. So SLT is one other application. I think HANA. HANA supports it. SAP HANA supports it. So for that, you can just directly go to Lagon pad and you can use the SLT. Even I never worked on SLT, but I know the processes where we have data. I mean, 3 types of a source it will accept, like flat files or Excel formats, or I think XML as well. I think, yeah, it's XML. It will directly pull, but for that, as for you to use the SLT, you need that in load ready format. The data should be in load ready format. I give that example, right? If business sometimes give that GL ka Excel sheet to you, it is 100%. It is inconsistent. I have never seen that any business is worried about what they are putting in. They have correct figures, number. I mean, the numeric figures are correct only. For that, they don't do anything, because of course it is on that GL part is on that only. But yeah, other columns may hamesha problem rahega. So for that, so let's take this example now to understand how to do that. So we've got some Excel sheet. Let's say GL accounts 1. They have given to you. Of course, it have some inconsistency. So what you will do, you will use this file as a source. You will use SAP BODS as ETL services, ETL tool, and you have SQL server. So we have created some test GL account SQL table. So first we'll do some plain extraction. So if it's having 1 lakh record, you will do some plain extraction here itself, 1 lakh. Then what you will do in the second, this is the first program, first job where you do some plain extraction. Now your second job, what it will do? So it will use this table as source now. This is source now. Now here all transformation logics, data cleansing and filtering, of course. And after that, this have 1 lakh record, but inconsistent. And now doing these processes, you have created one more table. I'll now use some industry naming conventions. Account preload. So we'll use these namings always. Preload. Preload means all transform data. It is ready to load table. So isme maybe it is have 25K records. It is a consistent record. These 25K we need to load. So ये जो preload table है, इसको हम will convert it into either text file, either in a Excel sheet or either in a XML format, and we'll use that as a source to SAP HANA system by using SAP SLT. It is a fast process. It is a simple process. Everyone can use that. It's a straightforward thing. So it will not have any complicated IDOC level thing and all that stuff. IDOC also I'll explain you. It is having some structured format, but it's not. It is little bit complicated if someone is working newly on that. It is simple once you get that. But yeah, of course, if you have a flexibility to load directly from Excel sheets, why you'll prefer for the IDOC load approach or happy load approach, right? Usually they will provide in Excel format because first they will download the data from their system, legacy system, whichever the system they are using, and they will do some changes in that file, and then they will give us. So probably it must have Excel only, but I have seen some clients as well who have given that data from text format only. This text and Excel sheets, we don't require data store. We can directly use as a source. I'll show you how to do that. So if you are getting text file or if you are getting Excel sheets, nothing to worry. It's same only.
Okay.
We can establish the connection. So we create data stores. So I'll open one more tab. So let's suppose we have created this data source SAP. Okay. When you create this data store, you'll get multiple options. First option is table. Second option is ad hoc. Third options. There are 3-4 options. So see, BODS is why it is popular, because it's all a UI kind of a thing. It's all visual thing. You can, whatever objects you are using, working on, you can visualize it. All is in a visual format. Yeah.
Okay.
So whatever ad hoc, if you are using MatMask, so it is not like SQL thing. You are just building a query and once you written 1000 lines of a code, you will forget like what you have written. It is not like that. It is a visual kind of a thing. Every aspect, it is in format of picturized format. So that's why once you complete the job and once you execute, once you build that all kind of programs of a job, you can again later point of time come back and you can do visualize and you can do all kind of customizing stuff. BODS supports that as well.